What's up, you guys? Mario Lima here from Friggin Nerds Media, bringing you guys the nerdy news you guys care about. And today, we're talking about something I've been dying to talk about for I feel like over a year. We finally have news on IO Interactive's Project 007. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we start, of course, thank you guys for joining us here on Friggin Nerds Media. If you guys like what you see, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hang out with us for other nerdy content, podcasts, D&D, other nerdy stuff like that. Friggin Nerds Media is your place to be. Let's move on to the video. So, today, via Games Radar, we have an article here saying the new Hitman game is a little bit on a hiatus as the devs work on James Bond. With Project 007 and another online fantasy RPG in development, the next Hitman game is currently on hold, which is a big bummer for Hitman fans. I love Hitman, but when they announced that IO was working on a James Bond game, I was like, this is the most perfect matchup possible. And a quote here, right now a major new Hitman game that's a little bit on hiatus as we're building another agent fantasy that also is taking up a lot of our time, Chief Creative Officer Christian Everdam tells Eurogamer, alluding to the upcoming James Bond game, but obviously we'll come back to the beloved Agent 47. He's still very much in the heart of this company. So, again, you know, it's a good sacrifice here. The James Bond game has a lot of potential. We have a history of having many James Bond games, some that are really good and some that really kind of flopped. We don't talk about those. But we haven't had a good James Bond game in forever. I think the last one was really like, I think 007 Bloodstone with Daniel Craig, which is like an original story, which was really cool. And they had the GoldenEye remake with Daniel Craig. But other than that, we haven't had a Bond game in a long time, mainly because they don't really do too well. The last one, in my opinion, that was really good was the Quantum of Solace game that was based on the film of the same title. It was really cool, had great online play. It was on the Call of Duty engine, basically. It was basically Call of Duty. It was really fun. But those servers are long gone, and us Bond fans have been in the dark for many years until this news dropped about like 2 years ago. Like that we're going to make a Project 007 game. It was mysterious. All we knew was IO was making it, and it was going to be a Bond game. And that it's not going to be based on any of the previous actors. So I think it'd be fun to kind of talk about what I would like to see in this game. And we'll talk to you guys too in the chat and in the comments. What do you guys want to see as well? Alright, number one, I want a good Bond story. The Hitman games do a really good job of telling a good story, and I think they can, if you're going to do an original Bond story, you gotta make it something special. Number two, you gotta have the Bond gadgets. I want all the gadgets, man. I know some of the newer Bond movies kind of stray away from the gadgets. It's a little more serious. A few gadgets here and there, but nothing as crazy as, like, say, the Roger Moore films. I want a crocodile submarine. I want something goofy. I love all the old games when you played. You had laser watches to break locks. You had little keys to like stun people. It's just you gotta go full Bond. If you're gonna make a Bond game, go full Bond. You gotta do it. Number three, you can't have James Bond without the vehicles, the Bond cars. Now, the Hitman games are not known for having driving in them, unfortunately, but this is not going to be a reskinned Hitman game. This is going to be James Bond. But I do hope that IO can like develop a cool way to incorporate driving. A lot of cool cars you can choose from. Maybe just have an original car. It has to be Aston Martin. If it's James Bond, you gotta go with the Aston Martin. Most notable one is the Aston Martin DB5, which first premiered in 64's Goldfinger and was shown throughout the entire franchise. Pierce Brosnan drove it. Daniel Craig drove it. It's James Bond's car. You have to have a DB5. So that'd be a cool little touch to have the DB5 showing up in the game, but I'm not opposed to having a newer Aston Martin also in the game. Number four, customization. Since we're going with a newer James Bond that has never been seen, we're not going to be Connery, we're not going to be Pierce Brosnan, we're not going to be Daniel Craig, I would like a little bit of customization for my Bond. Make it your own Bond experience. All of us, me at least, always wanted to be James Bond. So how much fun would it be if I could kind of create my own kind of Bond. Obviously, don't make him look like me, because that'd be kind of depressing to have a James Bond that looks like me. But there's some little touches, maybe a little bit of different hair. Get to choose the tuxedo you wear when you go into a party. You know, me, I personally like the white dinner jacket with the red flower. That is the classic Bond look. But let me kind of customize some of my outfits there. On top of that, I'll go into it. Let's customize our gear loadouts. When we're going into a mission, like in Hitman, you get to choose what kind of weapon you go in with. You can stash weapons at certain places. Have MI6 stash some gear for you. Have Q Lab stash something. Stash your car nearby. Stash your suitcase with all your gadgets in it. Like, that is going to be a really cool thing to see in a Bond game. Make the game big. I want to be able to travel around the world as James Bond. Start off in London, go to M's office, get your file, what's your mission, go down to Q Lab, get your gear, and go off. Hopefully we can travel around the world there. I want to be able to be in a Bond movie. This is so great. IO is the perfect match, a match made in heaven. Every time I play a Hitman game, I'm like, man, this would work well in a James Bond type of situation. And they heard me. The Bond gods heard me and said, yes, Mario, we will give you a Bond game made by IO Interactive. I'm just so happy. Today's my birthday, by the way, so this is a great gift. I know it was not announced today, but today I saw the news that they are putting Hitman to the side to make this Bond game. So hopefully we're going to get it soon, and I'm going to try to cover it as much as possible because I am so excited about this game. Like, this is like huge. I'm kind of getting off the Hogwarts Legacy hype, and now I'm jumping on to the James Bond hype because, man, this is like my game. I just cannot wait. You know, I love James Bond. It's my favorite fandom, and it just gets me all warm and fuzzy inside. But anyways, that's enough from me, guys. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys want to see from James Bond the game? Are you guys excited? As excited as I am? Let me know in the comments. But until then, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And as always, stay friggin' nerdy.